Yeah. Clef.
Boys up north, be coolin'. Subscribe to the channel cause we moving. What's up, you guys? Your boy Clef back with another video. Today I'm going to be talking about a big topic, a hot topic. R. Kelly. We just watched, I think, 2 episodes now, and it's called Surviving R. Kelly. This documentary is basically explaining the situation of him liking, I'll probably say, underage girls, and also basically acting in a different way than he would usually act in public, because they do talk about the wife as well. So first thing, one thing I can say, I do not support those who, or men, any person who basically causes sexual abuse, physical abuse of anything of that sort. I'm not that type of person. And another thing is, I really don't support the music as well. Me listening and seeing this documentary kind of changed my mind and perspective on how I look at music and how I should actually listen to it. Like, I kind of don't want to listen to the music because I wouldn't say it's feeding to his pockets, because he probably don't own all his records, but it's just the point of listening to the music can also be a sense of support. We did get information that his streams on, I think, Spotify went up by 6% just because of this interview. So to a certain extent, like they always say, it's not a such thing as bad publicity. So that's kind of true. But getting into the interview, this was a very moving interview. I watched it last night and I was very uncomfortable to a certain extent. I tried to watch the whole thing. I watched the first and then I watched the half of the second about the sex tape. I know when I was younger, I did hear about the sex tape, never saw it. I really never wanted to see it. First of all, I don't think I ever want to see a young girl getting peed on. Like, that's not my type of thing and never will be. But when I grew up, how I saw R. Kelly was almost like a R&B icon, like a R&B legend. He was the king of R&B, truly. Coming out with My Mind's Telling Me No, and My Body, Trapped in the Closet. I was like probably about 10 when that came out. Same Girl with Usher, World's Greatest, I Wish, I Believe I Can Fly. I was around when Space Jam was out. So it's like, I never thought that somebody like this, and then making a gospel CD upon that. And I actually bought the gospel CD. Like, that was one of my favorite CDs. It was pretty dope. And knowing that a person can actually be behind the scenes and doing things that you would never think he or she would be doing, it's crazy. From our perspective, or I would say my perspective, I do kind of see the links of how everything happened. I can see how things can slip through the cracks when money is in a situation. Like they say, money talks. So it basically can take a lot of things and kind of blind people from it. So I understand that. But I also took the mindset that I just don't blame him. I do blame the families of these victims as well, to a certain extent, not all the way. Like I did see on the interview that some of the females or some of the young girls' family allowed them to actually get on planes and fly to see kills and do all that. So as a parent, that's when you just have to put your foot down and be like, hey, I'm the parent. And I think that's what has to happen in these days, as it is, as parents have to be parents. That's one thing my mom and my dad always taught me. I'm not your friend, I'm your parent, and I'm here to make sure that you have the best direction ever that you can have. I'm not going to lead you in the right, and I'm right. I'm not going to lead you in the wrong path. I'm trying to put you in the best path, or the right path, so you don't go through the same mistakes that I went through. And to a certain extent, knowing that some of the females were 17, 15, it's just to the point of, I wonder, did you ever take the time to see the signs? Having the girl come to the studio and no supervision, being dropped off. But I understand from the family standpoint as well, because I was also a kid, and I also used to go over my boy's crib and stay the night, and my mom was never there because the parent of my friend basically had trust or gained trust from my parents. So it was kind of I understand that. But I think to a certain extent, when you're having a 16-year-old leaving out of state, it's a different subject. Saying basically, all right, you live in Florida, you live in Chicago. Mom, I'm going to Chicago. I'm going to see him. And you're only 16 years old. Who has the decision? Not the kid. It should be the parent. So that's why I come back and say that I also say they play a part as well, even though they did not mean to play the part. But when we go to R. Kelly, it's disgusting, personally. That's like me having a smaller sister. I'm the youngest, but my big sister, I'm almost exactly the same. Even if it was that way, I would be furious. Like seeing my sister on a sex tape, seeing messages about her being basically took advantage of and doing sexual things that she did not want to do and really did not consent of. It just happened, and she had to be experienced and basically molded into that person who he wanted her to be. So that was kind of I wouldn't say a scary moment, but it really shook me up of, as a man, how do I perceive the woman? How do I I'll probably say, come at her or talk to her so she don't seem offended in a certain way? Because I feel, to a certain extent, sometimes even the gesture or the voice that you use can come off totally wrong and probably start something that you probably didn't want to start. And I think that's also what he did to a certain extent. He took his kindness and gentleness, and he's already a sex symbol at the time, and just kind of used it to his advantage and was just like, all right, let me see if I can capitalize on this. And he did. But R. Kelly also denies it to this day that it never happened. And as a R. Kelly fan, because I am a fan as well, I have to come to the realization that just because your music is good does not exempt you from the behavior and the actions that you have done. Things can be forgiven, but a price has to be paid because of the things that you have done. And from my perspective as a fan, I am disappointed. I don't hold it against your music, but I have to hold it against R. Kelly's, because me as a young man growing up listening to the music now makes me wonder, how did you get all of this music? They already said he couldn't write, he really couldn't read, so how's these songs brought up? How's these great songs brought up? And it had to be from experience. Of course, he made a lot of sex songs, and that's where he probably got it from. But it's hard to say, because I am a songwriter as well, and I know sometimes I can actually speak on things that I know nothing about, truly. Like, I could speak on drugs if I wanted to. I've never been in drugs. I've been around it, but I don't know the in and outs of everything like that. But I can speak on it if I write it on paper. I can do that. But when you know about something and you continue to talk about it and continue to experience, it seems like it becomes second nature to you. And I was reading a lot of comments on Facebook, man. So this was another thing that got me. I did not like how everyone was being, what's the right word? Rude to each other to a certain extent. I saw a lot of people saying, well, if you defend R. Kelly. I'm going to block you. Please unfriend me. Please do that. But we all have our own opinion. And I think that's what we have to come to the realization of, that we wasn't there. So we only can go by documentaries and then go by what he said. We just have to wait to see what the outcome is. Knowing that you got close friends, if they think he didn't do it, that's their opinion. But if you think that, cool. Understand that you have your valid points. They feel like they have their valid points. But at the end of the day, the real issue is, do they accept what happened, if it happened? Not even just to those girls, but to regular people. Do you accept child abuse, sexual abuse, physical abuse? That's when friendship should be ended, because that's what's the true cause. We want to make sure that these families, that these girls are healing from the process. But as of people, we need to learn how to acknowledge the situation instead of just the people. And I think that's when it comes down to fixing the problem, because we tend to, well, this girl got raped, this dude got molested. But do we ever take upon ourselves to take away the person and actually look at the action? How can we make people feel safe and make sure that we don't allow people to be molested and abused? What can we do? We understand the person, but what can we do to stop the action? And that's one thing I'm still having trouble with trying to find out, because there's really it's really hard to get a solution, because we're all in different places. We're all in different times, in different households, all of that. So it's very hard for us to actually come up with the solution. But the best solution that I got out of this interview is that if you are near it or close to it or see it, tell it. And that's one thing that I did not like in the interview. I did hear a lot of his people in the interview say, well, I noticed that he was going to high schools. I mean, if you notice he was just going to high schools for no reason, why didn't you say anything? Or if that was my man's, he probably would have got pieced up. Like, bro, why do you keep going to these high schools? Is this something you need to tell me? Like, we need to straighten this out. And that's what I believe. Like, I would not allow that to happen. But it's different people in the world, man. But that's true to me, man. That's one thing I think is a big issue, is that when you see something, you need to tell something like that, bro. That's not, now in the street code, that's not snitching, bro. That's saving somebody's life. That's somebody's child getting abused. That's somebody's daughter. That's somebody's future mother, future father getting abused. That's not nothing to play with. And it actually can change a whole person's whole life. Like the way they think about men, the way they think about women, the way they think about relationships, the way they think about having kids. They might not even want to have a kid because they don't want their kid to grow up and witness or to experience anything of that. So we have to take upon that to make sure that we are talking about it, man, and actually giving the best love and giving the best guidance to the people who are younger than us, the people who are older than us, and also looking after each other, because most of the time we so caught up in ourselves and what our life is looking like and what we want to do in life that we don't think about others, and we forget about others, and they're going through trials and tribulations just like us, and sometimes even worse. But this situation is disappointing on both ends. I wish the family the best. I hope that they heal. And I hope that justice is served. I hope that it finally get brought to the light and everything gets in order, because we don't want anybody like that, especially us being this black man. This is another powerful black man that was kind of a person we looked up to, and that is now being trampled. But I wouldn't say trampled because it was his decision as well, but being brought to the forefront, and we're never bringing those who are at the forefront truly and giving them their respect. So right now, for me as a black man, we just need to learn how to control ourselves and also Make sure that we are presenting ourselves in the best way possible, man. That's all it is. Hey, I want you guys to comment at the bottom. Tell me what you guys think. Hey, I really want to thank you guys for watching this video. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. Press that notification button. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Hey, comment at the bottom. Show love, show mercy, show peace. And I'll see y'all in a minute.
Tell me what you know about them elevators. All I'm trying to do is keep on elevating. I've been up and down, I've been up and down.